but I really hate people who play ukulele. They should all be shot. Welcome to episode 4 of the Sacred Jedi Podcast. Alright, welcome to episode 4 of the Sacred Jedi Podcast with me, Will.
And me, James. Wait a minute. That's not right.
It is.
Wait, now you've confused me.
Which way am I pointing? Am I pointing to you?
No, that way.
Oh, wait, it'll be a recording of the screen anyway. This guy. I'm your clone. I'm Will. I had another L. Will.
Yeah, welcome to episode 4 of the Sacred Jedi Podcast. As you can tell, we've got video now.
Hello.
Especially
if you're on iTunes.
Yeah. If you're not,
you can probably instantly tell from before you press play. We've got video. We also have snazzy new microphones.
Yeah. I was going to
say snazzy. It was a pain in the ass to get working. At least mine. Because apparently, this brand of microphone, was it the Behringer C1U, is notorious for being really quiet. So I've had a fiddle with the sound, and it sounds all right. I think. Hopefully,
I've had a fiddle with myself.
Now he works properly,
which is a first.
Another thing, you wouldn't have been able to notice in the last episode, is that we're on 2 different places now. I'm in Lincoln, and Will is in Peterborough.
Yeah. Hello from Peterborough. We've split up, just like the Beatles did.
Yeah, basically. Which one's going to have the Yoko?
She's going to come in.
I'm going to take this podcast into strange new directions. Number 8.
It's only been 3 minutes and you've already done a Simpsons reference. I think we need a swear jar for Simpsons.
I need an injunction, a super injunction or whatever it is.
Hook it into my veins.
Sectioned.
Yeah, that's true. We both need sectioned.
Or Simpsons patches. Keep the cravings.
Nicotine patches. Tobacco patches. But yeah, okay.
My name is James, and I can't go 3 minutes without referencing The Simpsons. Sir, this is a Girl Scouts meeting. Is it? Or is it that you girls can't admit you have a problem?
Stop. You need help.
This episode. This episode, we're having to re-record this because we recorded about. We're trying to talk about a couple of things in the episode, and we spent an hour talking about one thing. So we're going to try and make it a bit more bite-sized.
Yeah, we're doing this again. And as we're saying, we've got video now for the YouTube channel because we thought having footage of the game for the last episode, we didn't really talk about it.
Yeah, so if you've seen the video on YouTube, it's mostly just covered up by pictures anyway, so what's the point? We might continue the game on Twitch if anyone's interested.
Yeah, do some charity streams, something we were.
I mean, let us know if that's something you'd be interested in, streaming or whatever.
So we can finish Jedi Academy.
I've finished it many times. I think it's you that...
Yeah, I'd like to see the rest of it.
I'll let you have a go on it.
Yeah. But I think it was a good idea to move away from... Get off my game. I think it was a good idea to move away from the game because it sort of looked more like we were trying to do a let's play. But
it's also having to play the game takes away the fun. There's a difference between having to play and wanting to play. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So we want to try and focus on being a podcast mainly now and then doing other stuff like the games and stupid things. But yeah, what are we talking about this episode, James?
Well, let's start this episode by talking about the last episode. Because
place to start.
About 2 hours after I uploaded this the third episode of the podcast on the YouTube, in which we talked about the Vanity Fair issue. Guess what I found?
What did you find?
The Vanity Fair issue.
Hey, funny you should mention, I found it as well.
Well, so there's two variants of this. There's Rey and Kylo Ren. So obviously, what we did, I got Rey, and then Will, what did you get?
I thought I'd also get Rey.
You got Rey?
Yeah, because
why
James
not?
James told me in a message. He said, "Oh, I got Rey." And I was like, "Oh, I'll probably get Kylo Ren," but then I changed my mind because I like Rey.
Rey's the main character.
Yeah, we were saying that. It's like
this is like the choice, evil clone of Rey, where you add like another vowel. It's
Reebok.
We've found out the secret of episode 9. Clones.
Yes. It's actually 2 Reys.
So yeah, in this episode, we're going to talk about the Great Heap, which is a cartoon. Well, it's the last episode of Star Wars Droids, which is exactly the place you want to start with talking about a series. The very last episode.
Yeah.
So, Star Wars Droids was a cartoon that ran from 1985 to 1986. It only lasted 13 episodes. Neither of us have seen any episode aside from the Great Heap.
Yeah, this was our introduction to the series.
So the Great Heap was a special. It was kind of like an hour-long special episode written by Ben Burr, the man behind the sounds of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Not the sounds of Star Wars, the amazing synthesizer album, but the actual sounds of Star Wars.
Yeah, the sound designer, one of your heroes, isn't it, James?
Ben Burr, yeah.
One of your, yeah.
I have a lot of every sound he does, beautiful. It's like an orgasm to my ears.
Every sound he makes,
beautiful. Even his voice.
I don't know. I think I've heard him speak. Yeah, because there's quite a good documentary on one of the special features on the Blu-rays about him making the different sounds for Star Wars.
I just think the whole like Foley sound of films is like really interesting. You know, it's like how did they get like an elephant and a car driving on tarmac to sound like a TIE fighter?
Yeah,
you know,
is that what it was?
He knows.
He knows. Brilliant man. But yeah, he wrote quite a few episodes, didn't he, of Droids?
I'm not too sure actually.
I think because I checked up before this. I didn't know this before, like a few hours ago, but I was just checking on Wikipedia, and yeah, I think he wrote 4 or 5, definitely from what I saw.
He's
written quite a few episodes.
Yeah, I know he wrote this episode. So yeah, let's get into the plot. Let's not take an hour describing it then.
Yeah.
As we did last time in the first take. So essentially the plot is it takes place about 15 years before episode 4.
Yep.
So you'd be thinking, in between 3 and 4, this is like when they were serving under Bail Organa.
Yeah.
But in this, it's completely ignored. What was it? Because it was written before episode 3. So the way they got around this was in a article. They basically described that. At some point about 15 years before episode 4, Tantive. How would you pronounce it? Tantive?
I would go with Tantive only because that's, I think, the first time I read it, I was like, oh, Tantive.
Yeah, I always go for Tantive. I think it's pronounced Tantivi, but it sounds a bit goofy. So yeah,
Tantive sounds cooler.
Tantive got attacked by pirates. So R2-D2 and C-3PO got into a escape pod and jettisoned themselves off to escape from it, which sounds very similar if you've ever watched a film called Star Wars, because that's exactly what happens at the start. And basically, they went missing for a year, had a lot of adventures, and end up making the way back to Tantai 4.
Okay, so the whole, like a vacation, really, a droid's vacation. Much, yeah. Nice.
Traveling the galaxy, bit of sightseeing, you know. Sights.
Yeah.
So in this episode, it starts with them being taken to the planet Baitu to serve Mungo Baobab, who is completely different from Mungo Beefhead, despite the similar names.
Yeah.
Mungo Beefhead.
Mungo's farm. Mungo Jerry.
Who's like, who's a like a space merchant, basically.
Yeah.
Trades. But he gets captured by the Empire, and then R2D2 and C3PO get attacked by these like giant droids with faces on the chests. These like giant like orange droids, really strange looking buggers.
That was at that point I knew we were in for a wild ride, because that was like the first new thing we saw.
Yeah, that was like the first like kind of
new character.
At the very least, it is one of the first things that stood out to us, is how like weird these like droids looked.
And at that point, we knew we were in for a good time.
So they crash landed on Baitu. They got captured by the Empire and made to serve this giant mechanical creature called the Great Heap.
Yeah,
who basically looks like Circular Lot from Robot Wars.
Yeah. Big beefy robot.
It was absolutely fucking enormous as well. It's yeah. We'll get into later, but I think it's a really interesting character, or at least his species is. Yeah. R2D2 gets sent to a harem.
Nice.
Which it's basically like a spa where I'm assuming all the droids have orgies, because there's a lot of things that look very suggestive. And C3PO gets sent to Lube Crew.
2 members of the Lube Crew. A new boy band.
Lube Crew spelt CRV.
Yeah.
Make it edgy. And then, basically, to cut it short, because we don't want to spend a whole hour describing the episode as we did last time, C3PO goes on a mission to rescue R2D2. C3PO gets captured. R2D2 then goes on a mission to rescue C3PO. They both end up in a oil refinery.
Yeah.
No, not an oil refinery, an ore refinery.
Yeah.
R2D2 uses a lightsaber to cut a way out.
Yeah. That was very good.
There's this like weird, annoying alien child and his weird little dog who rescue Mungo Baobab from space jail.
Because he's been.
And they basically all like
by the Empire.
Yeah, and they all meet up to destroy this thing called a moisture eater, which is this giant pillar that basically sucks all the moisture out of the sky.
Yeah, because the Great Heap, if the Great Heap's like exposed to moisture, he obviously rusts because he's a big old robot. So
pretty much what happens with robots.
He has this device that sucks up all the moisture, like a dehumidifier.
They destroy like the moisture eater. Great Heap dies. They all have a big old do because he's dead. You know, party on. Basically, the whole episode's on YouTube. I don't want to spoil it too much. That's the basic plot, but go watch it on YouTube. It's amazing.
It is, yeah. It is. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I was saying to James, I was expecting, because this was the first episode I saw.
It's the first episode I saw as well.
Okay, yeah. And I think it is a good introduction. I don't know if the rest link up, but it's definitely a good place to start, I thought. But yeah, I was expecting it to be like the Star Trek cartoon, which is very, very limited, obviously, in their budget. So everyone was very stationary, and like you get a few eye darts and a bit of lip syncing, but that was about it. But this was very good. Yeah, it was good. It was like an old Tintin cartoon.
Yeah,
lots of adventure.
Yeah, so it's like it's a very like fun adventure kind of cartoon. I'm a bit sad that I never saw it when I was a child, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's the
me
kind
too.
of thing I would have loved.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, there's a few things that we want to talk about because they're just so weird. First, let's start with the Droid Harem.
Yeah, that was my favourite bit, I think. It was very funny.
Which is, as we were saying, it's like this kind of like spa resort for droids where the Great Heap treats these droids to kind of like a life of luxury before he sticks them in his mouth and sucks the battery out. Yeah, and basically leaves them to like basically sucks the life out of them because that's how the Great Heap eats.
Yeah, he
feeds off electricity.
Astromech droids. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like free range chickens, isn't it?
Yeah,
giving them all this space and luxury, and then killing them. The cold-hearted man he is.
But yeah, there's this droid called KT-10, who's like this sphere on like with like it's like R2-D2, but its body is like a sphere shape, and it's got high heels on.
It's pretty hot.
And all the other like R2 units just keep like eyeing her up.
Yeah, it's like an old Marilyn Monroe movie.
Yeah,
or like a Tex Avery cartoon where everyone's just like their eyes follow her around the room of this pink droid.
And basically R2-D2 falls like in love with this robot, cheating on C-3PO completely.
Yeah,
even when C-3PO like tries to rescue him, he's putting all this effort in, and C-3PO never once for a second thinks that is R2-D2 seeing this other droid behind my back. He just thinks that he's that she's R2-D2's friend. Completely ignores the romance.
He's blind.
He's comically oblivious,
seeing the world through rose-tinted glasses. For R2-D2. Poor guy.
And a lot of the droids are something... I really like the design for a lot of the droids. There's one that really stands out to me is this one that's like a sphere shape, and it's just got a single leg on it at the bottom. It just it's kind of like a it just reminds me of a Hoover zooming about.
Yeah.
Really funky.
And the is that the one with the butler one? Is that the one you mean?
No, and there's this butler who's like this floating torso with a head that basically like treats all the he's kind of like the barman of the harem, isn't he? And like he brings all the droids out to the Great Heap.
It's like a robot Jeeves.
Yeah.
And there was the other one. I remember you saying that you liked was there's this big wheel droid. His whole body is like
works in the mines.
Stone Age wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like imagine like General Grievous's like wheel bike, but it's like inside is like this droid with like buckets for hands. It's so funky, and it makes like the noise of an AT-AT. It's so weird.
Old bucket hands.
I like that they go for like the over the top look though. It's like there's no point kind of sticking with every R2 unit looking the same.
Yeah, there's a lot of really funky designs in this.
Which
is cool. Like the
another thing. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
Like the Imperial guy. It was like half cyborg.
Oh yeah,
got like
Screed.
Cyborg.
He's like one of the main villains of the story, and he's like this Imperial officer in this like trench coat, which I feel like like an Imperial trench coat. I'm surprised we've not seen like much of that. We've seen it with the First Order, I guess, but like,
yeah, we need a film.
But it looks pretty funky, and he's got this kind of like massive robot eye patch. There's a lot of backstory to him. He's one of those characters who's like only really had a major appearance in one thing, but people have added like so much like backstory to him. He's got quite a big like Wikipedia page. So another thing I'd like to talk about is the scene where C-3PO gets captured, because he gets like took to this surgery. And this is like other droid, this like surgeon droid who's like about to dismantle him. But like the whole all way throughout the scene, there's like this Swan Lake song playing over it, like a synthesized Swan Lake. It's pretty surreal.
It is. It is a great moment. It's like I wonder why they chose that piece of music.
I know they've got like the whole like John Williams catalogue of music, and they choose Swan Lake, the least appropriate music for Star Wars.
Yeah, and you could sort of understand if it was like them floating through space. It's not.
Maybe that's what the robot was actually listened to. Maybe he's got like the radio on and he picked up like Earth transmission.
Like Wally, he's got like a little recorder built into him.
Yeah.
He's got his Star Wars iPod.
I mean, if you were actually in that situation in real life, that'd be like really pants shitting scary, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Eyes wide open. Gotta watch yourself being took apart.
Eyes wide shut.
Another thing, the third thing that I think's really weird is R2-D2's attachments.
Yeah, he's like a bloody Swiss Army knife in this one, isn't he?
Yeah, because near the start of the episode, he's got this like one of the droids that works for the Empire picks him up, and then like he shoots like at this little like attachment that's like this like comedy like flower that shoots water at the droid,
like sort of like Krusty the Clown.
Yeah,
like a flower.
The best part about this is like all of these attachments are canon.
Really?
If it's appeared in, or were a Legends canon.
Yeah.
So if it's appeared in these cartoons, chances are this is 100% official. It's some form of canon.
You mentioned before, didn't you? He's got a lightsaber.
He's got a lightsaber as well to escape from the Great Heap, who chucks R2-D2 and C-3PO in a furnace. No, this was just before that scene. There's a bit where they're on a conveyor belt, which is very like reminiscent of Episode 2. Like the droid factory in Episode 2 with like the conveyor belt and all these kind of like stompy clompy fucking bits of machinery coming down. And then and to escape, R2-D2 just pulls out this thing and then ignites it, and it looks like a lightsaber and it sounds like a lightsaber. So we're pretty sure, it's a lightsaber.
That would be a great sort of twist in the new film if you see that in Episode 9.
R2-D2 was a Jedi all along.
Yeah. Force sensitive droid.
I've already said this in the last recording, so I'm just going to say it again. Have you heard of Skippy the Jedi droid?
I haven't.
Thanks for playing along, Will.
It's okay.
Skippy the Jedi droid is a character from one of the comics in a Star Wars magazine. It's the same droid that is R5 in Episode 4, who has the faulty motivator.
Yeah.
And is this force-sensitive droid who essentially, at the end of the story, he gets took by Jawas. He gets chosen by Owen.
Yeah.
But then he realizes that R2-D2 is destined to do like save the galaxy, essentially.
Yeah.
So he sacrifices himself. He gives himself a bad motivator. He basically blows himself up.
Yeah. I remember that was...
So R2-D2 would get picked.
that was one of the first things I remember you telling me about, like the expanded universe at university.
The Jedi droid.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this droid that was force sensitive, and I was like, man, I need to get back into Star Wars.
Yeah, someone asked me the question, can droids use the Force years ago? So I put far too much research into looking this up. I also found this species of crystal called Shard.
Yeah.
Who, they're literally just force-sensitive sentient crystals who put themselves into like droid bodies to give them self-mobility.
Oh, that's cool.
And they can like have lightsabers and use the Force and stuff, but they're like stuck in robot bodies. They're not technically robots because there is a sentient crystal inside them. I guess cyborg more than anything.
Don't they mention that in the new comic that we're going to talk about in the second half?
They don't.
Oh.
Short answer, no.
I was trying to act like I knew what I was talking about then. You could have played it along.
No.
Don't know nothing.
So yeah, the Heap itself is an interesting looking character because it's like
Yes.
It doesn't look like anything else you'd see in Star Wars, I don't think.
Yeah,
like you'd see something that looks like a tank with treads and stuff. I could imagine that, but like having like arms and a head at the front of it looks so weird.
Yeah, he's pretty goofy looking.
But there's a reason it doesn't look like something from Star Wars. It is from Star Wars, but it's from another galaxy. It was explained like in a article about in 2006 that it was from a race of sentient robots called Abominor, who came from a different galaxy. The same galaxy that the Yuuzhan Vong are from the New Jedi Order series.
It all links back.
And the backstory for the Heap species is that they are a race of sentient droids who are like obsessed with like chaos and like asymmetry.
Yeah.
And they waged a war with this species of another sentient droid species called the Silentium, which at first appeared in a Lando Calrissian book.
Really?
Yeah. I can't tell you the exact book, but it's like this little like starfish looking thing, this mechanical starfish with like this big red eyeball on it. And basically the Silentium and the Abominor waged a war in the other galaxy, and basically that really got on the Yuuzhan Vong's tits. Like they were kind of like they were kind of like caught in the middle of it, but they finally got up and went, right, that's it, we've had enough. We're fighting both of you. And basically they fought both of them. And basically kicked the Abominor and the Silentium out of the galaxy and into the Star Wars galaxy, into the unknown regions of the Star Wars galaxy.
That's cool.
And I think in one of the another article somewhere, it's been like, it's kind of like there may or may not be. There's discovered about 18 Abominors, like species like the Great Heap in the galaxy.
Oh, cool.
And apparently, like they're supposed to be like very intimidating.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Basically, the whole supposedly some of the Abominors can grow to the size of like planets.
Yeah.
Remember like the old Transformers movie, like that giant fucking planet.
Yeah.
Robot, something like that. I'm guessing.
Cool.
So yeah, that kind of like the whole like war explains like the Yuuzhan Vong's hatred of machinery and technology, because if you've read the books, they use organic things in place of technology. They have like organic ships. They're when the arms get chopped off, they replace it with like something like an organic kind of thing that kind of becomes a symbiote, I guess, symbiotic relationship with that, like, basic replacement arm.
Yeah. Cyborgs.
Organic cyborgs.
From Retros.
So 2 more things that I'd like to talk about droids is...
And then are we going to break for the second part then after that?
Yeah, we'll this is going to be the end of the... us talking about droids, I guess. The
end of the droids.
There's a bit in the Great Heap where the Heap sends out these, like, 2 other droids to fight, like, the droid resistance.
Yeah.
And it's, like, one of the worst kind of, like, comedy bits, because it's, like, they keep bashing into each other and, like, forming, like, something completely stupid. And I think by the 3rd attempt, they turn into one of them riding the other one who's a motorbike.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, why don't you just run after them? You know?
Yeah.
Why would you have 2 robots to, like, for one of them to just ride on the other one, you know? Just give them both wheels.
Yeah.
And the last thing that really I thought was interesting is that there's a bit where R2D, the ship that R2D2 is flying, gets blown up, and then C3PO goes into mourn and he's like, I can't, like, and then he pulls out this thing saying, oh yeah, he got me this present for my birthday.
Yeah, I remember that bit.
It's the fact that droids have birthdays, and
it's quite
they have gifts. Bit. They give each other gifts.
And wasn't it a recording of?
It was a recording of R2D2's voice. And it's one of the things that I'm hoping is looked at more in the Droids cartoon is that R2D2 and C3PO are basically a married couple. They're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
It shows in the films as well. No matter how many times like they argue and like split up from each other, they always come back to each other. They're always excited to see each other.
Yeah,
they give each other
sweet.
presents for their birthday. And that's something that's really sweet.
True robot love.
Something that's made the film like so much better. Is that it's canon that robots have birthdays and they give each other gifts.
That's sweet. I wish someone loved me as much as that.
I wish I had presents.
And on that depressing note, I think
that ends part 1.
Welcome to the second half. Thanks for coming back. If you haven't come back, well,
you're missing out on some great stuff like comics.
We're talking
specifically
about
issue 108 of the original 1977 Star Wars comic.
Yeah. Marvel just released because Marvel have the rights for the Star Wars comics now, obviously. Have theirs.
Oh, I'm by Disney now, isn't it?
They have the rights for everything, including our souls. Our souls. But yeah, they've got the rights for the Star Wars comics now. And so they've, as a one-off special for under the Legends canon.
Yeah, it's a one-off special for Marvel's 80th, isn't it?
Yeah. They've released one more issue from the storyline of the original Marvel comics for Star Wars. So they've
like the very first ones that came out in the 70s, like to go with the original film.
It's one last issue to tie all the loose ends. I don't know how many loose ends there were.
I'm not even sure if it is a loose end. I think it's just like a sequel. You know, kind of like a sequel to a couple of storylines that like the writers wanted to look back on.
But it was really good. I don't know about you, James, but I really enjoyed this. It was because I've never read any of the old Marvel comics. I've read a lot of it.
Either. We're like too young to have read them when they came out, and we're too poor to afford like the collections that they're in.
But it's definitely got me interested, and I do want to.
Yeah, I'm definitely like when I can like if I can find it affordable enough, I'm definitely gonna like pick like the original like Marvel run up as like the collections.
Yeah, because there's so many cool things about this comic that I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
and it did a good job of, because as me and James have never read any of the originals, it did a good job of sort of easing you into the stories.
Yeah, I know like one or two of the like characters from the comic.
Yeah,
but
yeah, me too.
like we said, we've never read the comic itself.
We don't know anything about the storylines, but this does a great job of introducing you to the characters.
Yeah,
at the same time as not annoying the original fans, I think.
Yeah, I think they did it in like a way that completely flows well. Like I'm not going to spoil the. I don't think we should talk about what the contents of the comic itself, because it's only a week old. Not even a week old at this point. The Great Heap, that's like 30 years old. We can spoil that if you haven't seen it already. Then
old news, yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things. I am over the moon that they released a new Legends thing, because that's the Star Wars that we grew up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Before like Disney bought it. I think the Old Republic is something that they still put out. Like that's something that's still like part of the old canon that's still like going on. But I've never played that. I don't think it's anything I'm gonna play, because it's like World of Warcraft. It's like a subscription based. I'm not really I don't like the idea of paying like £8 a month for something I may or may not play that much.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah,
it looks good, but
they're doing just to sidetrack for a second. They're doing a trilogy, aren't they, of the Old Republic?
Yeah, it's been recently announced.
The people who did Game of Thrones are doing a trilogy.
There's been petitions to stop them from making it because of like the controversial like Series 8 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
No, I've not seen Game of Thrones, but I know a few things of what happened, and I don't know. I think I'm just going for the Star Wars route. I'm more than happy with the stupid shit.
Yeah, I recently watched all of Game of Thrones in the space of a few months, and I'm really looking forward to them doing their version of the Old Republic. But yeah, I can see a lot of people are complaining. I think it was the same people who were complaining about The Last Jedi who are complaining about the Old Republic.
There's people you'll never please, you know.
Yeah, nobody's ever happy when it comes to Star Wars.
I'm happy. Give me a Star Wars squishy poo toy and I'll be happy. It's Bantha Poodoo.
That's your favourite toy?
Made with real poodoo.
The real poodoo was the friends we made along the way.
So yeah, back to the comic.
Sorry.
With the cover, I really like the cover. It's got a very retro vibe to it. In fact, it's done by I can't remember his name. It's something Simonson, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Walter Simonson. I've just read it in the back page. So yeah, it was doing a lot of the old comics. Obviously, it's this character who's a character from the old comics, Valance the Hunter, who, from what I've read in the comic, is like a character I'm really looking forward to reading in the old comics.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's a really he's got like a really interesting like character arc.
It was a great way to open the comic, I thought, with this character, because obviously me and James don't know about him. But
we're not going to spoil it, but it's basically Actually, I won't even go that far. Yeah, they introduce that character in a way that flows really well with the rest of the story, I think. It does. And it's a good way of introducing, but it's a good way to kind of like
get you interested with the original comics. Yeah, because as soon as you start it, you really want to know him. You really want to know more about this guy.
The comic split into 8 chapters as well, and each chapter's done by a different artist, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It says right here in like the
I didn't even notice that. It flows very well.
It's got like the artist. Whether I'm 90% sure it's written by the same person. I probably should have looked into this, but
yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because there's a bit at the end where you get a little bit of sort of the making of, where it's one of the writers talking about how he got the job of being asked to continue this original comic series.
Yeah, that's something that I really like about the end. It's got everyone who's worked on it's got their own like little input of like what the comics mean to them and stuff like that. It's really, it's really nice to see like how people like what kind of impact like the comics themselves. Never mind like the whole like the films, like just specifically the comics have like made on people.
Definitely.
It's well worth a read if you can pick it up. I paid like what £5 for it. I don't know what the I don't know if that's a good value. Have I got ripped off? I'm not too sure on what the dollar to pound conversion is, but
I paid the same here, and my local comic book shop, I got this and a couple of others, and this one came out as £5, which I think it's quite good because it's
a like bumper. It's like nearly 50 pages long, I think.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it. And you don't get too many adverts for your purchase here.
That's something I was saying to you. Well, that really does my tits in.
Yeah,
is how many adverts are in these comics. It's one of the big reasons I stay away from comics, because like every 2-3 pages you've got a new advert.
Yeah.
This one's not too bad. I think I've said before, the only comics that I can like read are Dark Horse ones.
Yeah, I think this is a good one though, because there's only because it is a bumper one. There's only a few adverts,
and because it's split up into chapters. Like when one thing ends, if there's an advert, that's not too bad. I'll give it a pass.
It is worth it, I think.
But like watching a TV show, you get your ad breaks.
Yeah, but when you get like the single issues for like £3, when like 4 of the pages are adverts, it's like, leave me alone. Stop trying to sell me Viagra.
I'm trying to read my Paw Patrol comic.
Issue 107 of Paw Patrol, page 2. Buy Viagra
to
now.
Fluffles the firefighter or whatever.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good comic.
It's a good kind of, I guess, tribute to the old Star Wars comics. I am, like I've said, I'm glad that they're releasing the occasional Legends thing, a brand new Legends thing. I'm hoping they will do more, because I don't think they've had, aside from this and the Old Republic, they've been nothing new since like 2014.
Yeah,
I'm hoping this will drive interest up.
Hopefully, because I've recently seen a lot of re-releases of old Marvel comics.
Yeah.
With the Legends banner, so I'm hoping this will spark a new interest in the old. Like,
Legends. I don't expect it to be a constant thing because of the whole like Disney, like the new films coming out. It would just confuse people if you just put like constantly pushed out Legend stuff alongside the new canon stuff. But like having like, I don't know, one thing a year. It'd be quite nice.
It's nice because it's like it's getting twice the Star Wars, really, isn't it? It's like you're getting 2 Star Wars for the price of 1. I mean, what's not to like?
It's something that really bugged me when they announced like that everything was getting wiped and like the new trilogy was. But I think
I understand that
now. Now I've seen what they've pushed out. I'm completely with it. It's nice to have like a start again, because if they did a new trilogy, now like you'd have everything that's happened in the books. There's so much stuff that's happened in the books that you'd have to like explain in like 2 hours.
I think I always thought that was like half the reason why they started a new timeline, was because they couldn't be bothered to keep track of all this. All of these,
as much as I'd love to be in charge of Star Wars, asking to make a new film fitting around like 30 years of like already explained stuff.
Yeah, it would be a very tough job about all these wonderful stories. So I like how they've kept both of them, but started another one.
Yeah, another thing, they've included like quite a few like of the old. What they do with this comics is they basically continue a couple of like old storylines, like one with the character on the cover, and then another issue, another comic arc that was, I'm assuming, was quite big. I don't know too much about the comics, and then they reintroduce another character. Hopefully this isn't spoilers. Jackson, the big green rabbit guy, who just before we were recording this, we were saying we quite like, because he's kind of like a cross between Han Solo and Bugs Bunny.
He is, yeah. I'd read a little bit about it. Yeah, the Star Wars Wikipedia, and he's basically just this big green rabbit
who apparently hates being called Rabbit.
Yeah, and what's not to like really about that?
Like he's green.
I really like him. I remember, I think I read a bit about him.
Yeah, he's like one of the characters from like this way back in the 70s. He's like one of the oldest characters like in Star Wars.
Because when the comic book came out, the writers had to be careful about, I don't know if I'm correct here, I'm sure James will prove me wrong, but the characters that they made had to be original because it came out at the same time as the first film was released. So they had to create new characters while at the same time not spoiling the future films that were coming out.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Like I've said, I don't know a whole lot about the comics, but I'm more than happy to read the big old collections and get up to date with them. You know.
Yeah, I really like Jackson. He's, I don't know. I really want to read more about him. He's just a big green rabbit, and I love him.
We were reading as well earlier that he's been in one of the comics. He's hunted by a character called like Remel Fudd.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you can tell who that's based off.
Yeah, real chin scratcher there, Elmer Fudd.
Don't give it away.
But yeah, James was saying before, he's just a big green Bugs Bunny. And who wouldn't want a big green Bugs Bunny in Star Wars?
Marvel's answer to Duck Dodgers.
Yeah, he's amazing. I think he sums up the reason why expanded universe is so cool.
Yeah, he's one of like the first kind of really out there characters, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, look, he's very, very bold looking, very striking.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's a character we can like look into a bit more later on in another episode. Yeah. We'll have to look out for them books.
Is he canon?
He is canon. He appeared in a... We've recorded past midnight.
Time for bed,
my watch... I set my watch to beep at midnight accidentally, and I don't know how to switch it off.
That's your bedtime.
That's my bedtime.
But yeah, I hope we see more of him in more comics or even films. But I think that's a good
film.
Yeah,
imagine that.
Jax.
I would be down for that actually.
Definitely, me too.
Like have some like bring back some of the old characters from like the Legends canon and make films about them. There'd be some really like standout ones, I think.
Oh, I really hope so. I hope they do that.
Speaking of, I've just had a brainwave. Imagine like a film like where it's like Tales of Jabba's Palace, where it's like it's like loads of short films, but it's all done by different directors, and they all like merge together.
That'd be amazing. You'd have different directors doing something like you'd have Woody Allen, Martin Scorsese,
Fred Durst, straight off his new film Moose, starring John Travolta,
Stanley Kubrick's corpse.
just hanging.
That's the dream.
Just swinging through space.
What's his name?
Yeah,
the guy who did the Fantastic Mr. Fox and
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson doing a Star Wars film. Imagine that.
You could have that guy who did what was it? That film was set in space. It's
Star
like
Wars.
Farm Kid. Yeah, that one. What's his name?
Astro Boy.
George Lucas.
George Lucas, yeah.
Imagine if he did one of them Star Wars films.
Oh, I think that's far-fetched, but it'd be good.
So yeah, I think that should wrap up our review of the comic.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, we don't want to go too far into it because it's very, very recent.
Yeah, it came out this week. If you look in your local comic book,
we're finally up to date with something. It only took us 4 episodes.
A few days out of date, but yeah, if your local comic book shop doesn't have this comic book,
punch
them. Go back to them late at night and paint swastikas on the door, and then they'll know where they've gone wrong. They'll need to stock.
I know I should have stocked that comic.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you for listening. Question? Oh, do you want to do some questions?
Do you want to do the questions?
Have we got time? Oh, why not?
We're about half an hour in. It'll be fine.
We've got a few minutes, so why not? A few very, very lovely people have sent in a few questions. We'd like to say they were fans. We hope they're fans, but they're probably just people we know, to be honest.
I mean, they literally are.
I've got 3 here. Let's start with this one from my very good friend Emily. We've got a question. Why are there no dogs in Star Wars? And she said, she's clarifying here, Chewbacca doesn't count. Wookiees don't count.
Damn.
I think there are dogs, aren't there?
There are. There's a species called Cathound, which is a type of like wolf.
There you go. In your face, Emily.
I've never actually seen like. Have there been regular pets in Star Wars? I know Salacious B. Crumb is a pet of Jabba. Pet.
But what about in Solo, the Corellian hounds?
Oh yeah, the Corellian hounds. They're pretty much dogs.
I don't know if you'd
completely
want them
forgot
as a
about
pet.
that.
Probably eat your face. But
yeah, so get it right. Maybe watch a film sometime.
Yeah, this is my friend Emily who doesn't want to watch Star Wars.
Oh,
yeah, but she asked. She knows there's no dogs. I don't know.
She knows there's no dogs. Is that? I think there's a reason why she's not watching them.
Yeah. She does have 3 dogs, so that's probably a good reason not to watch it. Okay, we've got quite a in-depth question here from Alex. You know Alex, James.
I know Alex.
Alex Hollings.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Fots.
Fots.
Fots. F-O-T-S. Friend of the show.
Oh, I thought you said Thots. S-T-H-O-T-S. I thought you were just straight up insulting him.
No, I'd never insult Alex. He's a lovely person.
Hi, Alex. Question, miss you.
Hello. Miss you. Love you. His question was, if you had to erase one Star Wars memory, what would it be?
In like a good way, like so I could watch it again, or just like pretend it never happened.
I guess both. That's a good point. Both.
One thing I do wish I could erase from my memory is a manga version of the. Of course, it's like a manga version of the original trilogy, and they all came in like obviously little like manga issues, but like the one for Return of the Jedi was like so disturbing looking. It's like Princess Leia in like a bikini and like Jabba the Hutt and like all this saliva's going everywhere. It's very sexualized.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but if I had seen it, I would want to erase it from my memory.
I'll let you answer whilst I try and think of something if I could watch it again.
I guess it's like a negative thing. I guess all the hate for Star Wars. I guess that's the same for any sort of franchise, but the amount of people that like film themselves shitting on Star Wars or write a bad review. It's like, fair enough. If you don't like it, fair enough, but don't try and make other people dislike it. You know what I mean?
I've seen videos, like, well, I haven't seen the videos myself, but I've seen like plenty of like thumbnails for videos of people explaining like criticism of Last Jedi, particularly the Last Jedi, which like, I don't understand, because I know this is a subjective opinion, but objectively, objectively, The Phantom Menace is so much worse than The Last Jedi, I think.
I get what you mean.
I know everyone's got their own opinion, but if I had a choice of watching Last Jedi or Phantom Menace, I'd much rather watch Last Jedi, because I think it's so much more like solid. Like it's I know George Lucas obviously loves what he creates, but I feel like there's no reins on like looking back and thinking you spent so much time. It's that thing, like you spent so much time seeing if you could, you didn't stop to think if you should.
Jurassic Park theory.
Yeah. Oh, is that Jurassic Park?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh,
Jeff Goldblum.
so many good life quotes come from Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I think it's
life finds a way.
Life finds a way. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. If you didn't like it, fair enough, but don't try and stop other people liking it.
Here's the thing, it's like there's nothing wrong with disliking The Last Jedi.
Yeah, if you don't like it, fair enough. But don't try and stop. Yeah,
but like you're allowed to your own wrong opinion.
Yeah, I like.
So let's make it clear on this podcast. We really like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love The Last Jedi, and I love all of Star Wars, to be honest. And I don't. That was we have as things that we dislike. I think we've both expressed that we don't like the love scene in Attack of the Clones, but I'd never want to erase like a whole film. I'd want to erase like people being shitty about things. It's like, just life's too short. Just
people take these things like to heart when they should just kind of like look it on the face. It's like, if you don't like it, then don't think about it as much.
Life's too short.
It's like it's not a real world issue. If there's a real world issue that's affecting you, then fair enough, you can take like offense at it. But like, it's a film. It's a toy. It's a kid's toy. Don't get angry.
It's a child's plaything.
So yeah, just
if you don't like it, shut up. If you do like it, tell us, because spread the love. You know, if you haven't got anything nice to say, shut the fuck up. If you have, do.
I'm gonna send you a picture of the that manga cover.
Please, yeah. While I find the final question, which is from Danny, another friend of the show, or friend of ours.
I've accidentally sent it to you twice.
Well,
just so you can. I saw it in the works. This book. I don't know how it's on sale. It was like in the kids' comics section as well, and I don't know how it managed to get sales.
Kids Club.
So yeah, it's that scene of Leia strangling Jabba, but yeah, there's so much like saliva and liquids. It's horrible.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this, but I would like to forget this already.
This is the one thing that I'd really love to forget. I'll stick it on screen if you're watching it on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not very nice. I'm going to close that now.
I'm still staring at it, unfortunately.
We've got the final question here from Danny, who has said, when Luke was freezing cold in the cut-open Tauntaun, did he consider starting his own galaxy survival TV show, like how Ray Mears would have? And did he drink his own piss? I also assume his piss is blue milk from the Jedi boys. Drink to grows big and strong. Also, why does everybody trust droids so much? That's
two questions.
That's a fully loaded
First of all, Danny, you asked too many questions.
Yeah.
Second of all, I probably assume that Luke has drank piss at some point in his life.
Yeah.
Like maybe on Dagobah.
Yeah.
You can't drink the swamp water.
you've got to give it a try. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Blue piss, I think I was telling James about a film I saw recently. It was Pierce Brosnan and Liam Neeson. It's like a Western chase film, and there's a bit in this film where Pierce Brosnan hides in the corpse of a dead horse.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Liam Neeson like saunters up, like Western walking, walks up to this horse, looks at it, and then Pierce Brosnan jumps out of this dead horse, shoots Liam Neeson right in the body.
What was the film again?
Seraphim Falls. Yeah.
I need to watch that film. That scene has sold me.
It's amazing because I was watching it, just sat on my own, watching this bit because you don't get to see the bit where Pierce Brosnan hides in the horse. You just get to see the bit where Liam Neeson like walks up, being all like cool. He looks at this horse, and then Pierce Brosnan jumps out, shoots him. It's so funny. The whole film is.
Speaking of survival, you know how Netflix has that like choose your own adventure thing?
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend played the Bear Grylls one.
Me too. Yeah, I played that recently on my own though because I'm alone and sad.
We only played the first episode because we only thought it was a one-off, and
yeah,
Naomi was trying her best to get Bear Grylls killed, like eaten by crocodiles.
Fair play.
He never died in any of them. He just fell over and said, "All right, I'm going to die.
I'm dying now. Bye."
And I'm convinced of some of the places I believe filmed in Derbyshire.
Oh,
there's no way you can like do that much stuff like out in like the jungle.
If you like pan,
you would literally die.
If you pan the camera like 2 meters to the left, see like fucking Little Chef.
Playground.
Yeah,
Little Chef.
Yeah. Okay, I think we've been.
Last question. What was the last question from Danny?
The last bit of Danny's question was why does everybody trust droids so much?
Because people are stupid.
Yeah.
People trust Siri and like Alexa.
I trust a droid. There's something charming about them. I don't know. That's
how they get you tell them all all your secrets.
Yeah. Your life story. I don't know. It's like that film.
I mean, you can program them to not tell anyone, can't you? So if you program them to not tell anyone, you can they'll not tell anyone.
It's like that film. With,
I guess it depends what kind of droid you trust. I wouldn't trust 4LOM.
No, what a fucking ball.
I don't trust anyone with a bug for a face.
I trust some droids.
Yeah, I trust a gonk droid.
Oh, definitely. I'd tell him my life story.
I'd sleep with one.
You have slept with one. And on that note,
so
it's time to end the 4th episode.
The
Sacred Jedi Podcast.
It's a little different from the last episode. I mean, the last episode was a bit different from the one before it. We're slowly learning how to make a podcast.
Yeah, we're getting better every day.
Hopefully.
Or not. Hopefully.
So yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave constructive feedback. Don't just tell us we're shit. We know that. We need the positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
If having video is something you enjoyed, let us know. If you want us to go back to the gameplay, let us know. We're still figuring out what to do as we go along.
Yeah, if you hate us and want us to die, let us know.
Please include it in your This Is Why Last Jedi Sucks Part 586.
Yeah,
please. We'll even do a little like wave talk for you.
Yeah.
There you are. So yeah,
thank you.
We're on Twitter and Instagram if you want to follow us. Sacred Jedi on both.
Yep. YouTube the same. Sacred Jedi Podcast.
Sacred Jedi Podcast. With the video to go with this, if you're not already watching it now.
Yeah.
And
bit of bonus of our ugly faces. Beautiful.
I love you, I do.
We love you. We love you. We really do.
Yeah, if you like this episode, if you put a little thumbs up on this episode, we'll personally come down to your house and do a live podcast for you.
Yeah. We won't,
if you pay
we
us.
won't leave. Yeah. We'll stay
we
there for
desperately
about
need somewhere new to live.
3 weeks. We'll eat all of your we'll eat all of your bread once a month. Yeah.
We'll eat all your Monster Munch and drink all your alcohol, but
and then we'll leave.
We'll love you at the same time. We'll love you for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see you next time on episode 5.
Yeah, see you next week.
Podcast strikes back.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. We love you.
Thanks.